I don't even hear the music. What's happening?
It's playing.
Is it playing? I don't know what's that. I'm not hearing it.
Go ahead.
Luke, do you hear the music?
Yeah, I do.
Why the fuck can't I hear it?
During Black History Month, too. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Anyway, welcome to the Miami Heat Beat post-game show. I am your host, Alphonse Sidney, a.k.a. Alpha954. Whew, thank you for sitting through that game, which was actually fun for a little bit. And then they started playing the zone, and then Terry closed the fourth quarter, and then it just became a fucking shit show. But thank you for sticking through it, and thank you for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you subscribe. Something about Prime subscribing, you can do it. We get money. I don't know. I don't really understand the whole thing, but I think I explained it pretty well, didn't I, Franky?
You did. You did fairly so.
Yeah, so something Prime, subscribe. Whatever you do, wherever you're watching, subscribe. And if you're listening tomorrow morning on the podcast, we love you the most because that's where we make most of our money. Franky. Oh, I'm sorry. With me today, Franky, the man in the chair. What's happening, Franky?
Terry did it. Spo is an accomplice. I'm convinced.
If you're listening to the podcast, my header says investigate Spo. Because listen, I don't care what's happening with Trump and the FBI. Somebody in that fucking building needs to figure out what the fuck is going on with Coach Bullshit. Saucy Takes, Coach Lou, what's going on?
Oh man, a fucking masterclass right here out of Tariff Rozier. It was peak performance. Just apparently, talks were had between nations, and Tariff Rozier said, "Fuck it, we stand on business." He did not care.
Chat
he did not care.
Chat says Spolster. If I
can't, that's a stretch, but I like it.
It was difficult to say.
No,
listen, if this was hangover time, I would go into an opening rant. But it's not, so I'm not going to do it. Even though I want to, because
we got the music.
Like I'm watching the game. I can't hear the music, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, I'm watching the game. They're doing fine, and then we decide, even though Bam's on the floor, you got Jovic out there, you got good defenders. We decide to go zone, and as soon as we decide to go zone, what do? They start going on a run. Then we go away from the zone, and we stop the run. Okay, whatever. All right, so somehow the coaching staff was genius enough to figure that out. But then we get into the fourth quarter. You got a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And, of course, you decide the fucking thing you need to do to close out this game is we got to close the Terry motherfucker Rozier, right? We got to close the Terry, despite the fact that he finished 2 for 12 with 5 fucking points, despite the fact that he fucking couldn't guard me tonight. We had to close with fucking Terry, despite the fact that Jaime had his first good game of the season. Well, not first, but his first good game in a long time. Despite the fact that Alec Burks was playing really well. Despite the fact that Highsmith was guarding and defending well. Despite the fact that fucking Duncan assisted or scored on the first 10 points of the first fucking quarter and just played 12 minutes the entire fucking game. Despite all that, we decided, no, the way to win this game is with the maximum amount of Terry minutes in the fucking fourth quarter. Just an absolute fucking masterclass of fucking tanking. Put it on. Like, the FBI needs to look into Spo, Franky. I just don't fucking get it. Like, how many fucking times? And I'm not even blaming Terry. Like, how many games this season has Spo lost it for the team? Winnable games, highly winnable games, where your coach didn't even give you a fucking chance to win.
It's been too many, and a lot more than we're accustomed to, frankly. Just you can point out all the games Terry fucking closes for no reason. Like, I would get it if the thing about Terry is that when he isn't hitting shots, and that's frankly like all the time, he brings nothing else to the table. And that's why we pick on him so much, because it's not like he's like, oh, you need him for the defense. You need him for the playmaking. Like Shaban is a very avid Terry defender. And she was like, he gets to the rim. But once he gets there, like, I'm not responsible for that. Neither is he, frankly, because he doesn't throw fucking lobs. He doesn't create points there. He misses point blank. Like there was one layup he had a 2-on-1 and he took off in front of the big man from the outside the circle for no reason when he had the lane to get to the basket. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? Why do you have the wingspan? Give it to Tyler. He needs it. Give it to Duncan. Like, oh my God.
Lou, and I don't want this to just be harping on Terry, right? It's just the fact of the matter that I've said this from the beginning of the year. Like, there is a decent team on this roster.
Yep.
But they don't have a lot of leeway for mistakes, right?
No.
And they have to be like, you literally have to play things almost perfectly as a coach. And Spo just does some things that are fucking brain dead. Like, okay, you don't have just because of bodies. Okay, I guess you have to play Terry Rozier, right? But why are we playing him 30 plus minutes when like everybody else on the team has to earn their minutes except for this motherfucker? Like that, like it is not just about Terry. If he's playing poorly, bench him. But we bench guys who are playing well. We bench I just don't get it. Terry is just immune to whatever
to benchings.
To bench. Wait, Terry's just immune to whatever the standard apparently is.
I'll put it to you. I just looked this up. Duncan played 11 minutes today because Spo didn't like his defense or whatever. How many games do you think Terry's played less than 15 minutes?
Oh, maybe
he's played 44 games. I'm gonna say 2 games. Yeah,
0.
Jesus Christ.
He's never been punished when he is having a bad game.
I'll give you one more. He's second on the team in fourth quarter minutes behind only Bam Adebayo.
Why? Why?
Fuck it, because we're gonna go in on him anyways. I don't give a shit. Last year, before he came here for the Charlotte Hornets, Terry Rozier averaged 23.2 points per game. He has not scored over 23 points once this season in 44 games. And counting. The closest he got was 23. He got right. He nipped it. He hasn't beat it. This is fucking ridiculous. And it's every game. Honestly, I'm not upset at it because everybody knows what my intentions are in terms of where I want this team to finish or not finish. But like, I generally think Spo is planning. I think Spo is scheming with me over here. Like, there's no excuse. Like, I understand the point of like the whole entire point of this is like they're trying to get his value to neutral.
Sunk cost, man.
Dude, just keeps.
I don't want to.
He drags that ship further into the ocean.
I don't want to hear this whole thing about they're trying to. Because first of all, the way to get Terry's value up is to not play him. Right. Let that shit be a fucking mystery, okay? Like, playing him is the worst thing you could fucking do. And the fact, like, get his value up. There is no value there. You fucked this up. You are not. If you can get a second round pick for Terry, like, first of all, you're gonna have to attach a pick to get rid of Terry. All right, let that sleeping dog fucking lie. Like, and not to mention, okay, Terry. It's not like he has 0 value to this team. 15, 18 minutes off the bench, like just to.
He's the only healthy guy. He's one of the only consistently healthy guys. That's his value.
Like, hold down the fort for a few minutes, but just the fact that we're relying on him that heavily, like you know what it is, guys? The other night, right, when we saw that closing lineup of the 3 bigs, Duncan and Tyler, the vibes were at the fucking all-time high, man. Like, this was becoming an enjoyable season to watch. There felt like there was like this future there. It felt really fucking good. And it's like, we have not gotten back to that since.
Yep.
Like, Franky, I don't know if you can look up the minutes. I don't know if that lineup has played a minute since. And we all said, oh, this needs to be the new closing lineup. And it's like, I know we're not smarter than Spo, which is what pisses me the fuck off. Like, win or lose, go with something that you can build on. But, like, we're losing with lineups you can't even build on. Like, I don't even know how much that the actual lineup that he tried to close with until it became untenable and he had to bring Jaime back in. Like, those lineups that closed the last 6 minutes of the game, I don't know how much any of those have played together.
Yeah. No, today I think that was the first time that they ran the 3 big lineup with Tyler and Terry. but you just don't have enough gravity, like off ball movement, where like somebody, ideally Terry was supposed to be this guy that can come in and help settle the offense and take some of like the stress away from Tyler, because clearly with those three big guys, like his turnovers were putrid today in the fourth quarter.
Oh, and let's call spade. Tyler started off poorly, redeemed himself a little bit, but then a lot of piss poor fucking decisions, like that long logo three for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
2 turnovers, like I think in the last 6 minutes of the game. Like Tyler was just bad. Like Tyler didn't help the case. But you know what, guys? It's not about the wins and losses to me.
I agree.
It's about not giving your team a chance to win or making things so fucking hard on your team for no reason. You're playing a Bulls team that just got rid of their best offensive player. Someone said rescind the All-Star. I'm not getting like Tyler had a bad game, but okay, it's fine. Like, but it's just mostly the fact that like what are you building towards with that closing lineup? Like what is the point? Like I can accept a loss if I feel like, listen, they played the lineup we've all wanted to see. Like
they took lumps, but for the betterment of the future,
for the betterment of the team. Like, what did they learn today? That Terry sucks in the fourth quarter? Nigga, we've been you that shit.
We got 39 game sample size of that shit of him just being booty in the fourth.
And here's the thing: if you want to say that they're going to trap Tyler, they're going to press Tyler, you still have, even if Duncan plays or Burks or Jaime or Haywood. Any of those guys can also handle the ball a little bit. Plus, you have Nico and Bam out there. Like, Tyler doesn't have to be this full-time point guard.
Yeah.
Like, you do not need Terry handling the ball, because Terry handling the ball is a detriment to your offense. So you can't tell me that's a fucking excuse to play him.
It's not like he's making things easier or anything.
He doesn't pass.
He doesn't.
That's why Bam called them catch and shoot Terry. Like, they hinted at this. Like, we don't want that like Bam himself basically said, we don't want him to dribble. Like, if he catches and he's open, let him shoot. But as soon as he dribbles, their points per possession has to go down. Like, it has to get sliced in like 25% for real.
Terry Rozier, 3 assists tonight in 29 minutes.
Chad says Terry does pass when there's 1 second on the clock.
Oh, he loves to hit a grenade to a motherfucker.
Oh my God, he really does. But I mean, like, I can't say like Terry was awful, but they lost his minutes, the minutes when he was off the court too. Like the defense overall was shitty. They give up almost 30 points every quarter. Like they were trying to run too much and like forgot to play defense on that side of the court. It was so easy on offense that they were like every quarter you should have had a bigger lead, and they couldn't get enough separation from them.
No, and that's another thing about this team, and it's a sign of a bad team. Like, people who are not being realistic about what this team is, like, this team can't blow anybody out.
Right. They
except
had
like the Lakers
points in the paint.
They blew out the Lakers that one time. Like, beyond that, how many blowouts has this team had? Like, how many times have they? Like,
I think two. The Spurs and the Lakers, I think, are the only times that we've blown somebody out.
No, like their plus minus is like basically even for the year, right?
It's 0. Exactly.
Their point differential is like at a 0.
Yeah, and literally those 2 games.
That's a sign of a bad team. And listen, I still want them to make the playoffs. Like, I'd rather they go in as a 6 seed. I know, Saucy, you want them to tank. They're never going to tank. Like, I just don't
tank. I just want them to be a play-in team and lose in the play-in. Like, that's all you need to do. Just keep your pick this year, because God knows if this team doesn't get any injection of talent for next year, like, it's just this is gonna be part 2, except Terry's gonna be on an expiring. So let me at least look forward to one more talented guy on this team.
Here's the thing with the fucking, like, another rookie is not gonna listen. I get what you're saying.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, another rookie isn't gonna fix this, but this isn't a 1-year fix anyways. No. Like, this was never a 1-year fix, which is why we were so adamant about starting it in the summer, so you can get a head start. Like, basically you chalked up this whole season now. Like, you just, you have to get talent in the building, and they're not going to have money to sign anybody in the free agency. So, like, that shit doesn't matter. You can't keep relying on fucking UDFAs to come in and contribute to the level that you want them to contribute at. Like, we've been good at developing guys. Get another guy in here you can develop. Like, I don't give a shit about, you just said it. This is a middling team. We're literally 24-24. We have a neutral, like, we're 0 net rating. Like, we are the definition of an average team. Yeah, of mid, of average. And honestly, we're closer to bad than we are to good. The difference between mid and the worst team is closer than the difference between mid to being a championship contender.
No,
like,
I mean, they're not
from that.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're below their net rating is below neutral when Jimmy's off the floor. So like this,
so
take off all the Jimmy's minutes and they're below 5.
Now take off the Terry minutes.
and that's the thing. I'd rather like let them, ideally bring in a point guard so you don't have to give Terry all these minutes, so they don't have to try to bring back his value, and instead they can focus on developing. But they don't have that guy in the system, Alf. And like I think that's the real issue. Why we see so much Terry is because in theory, that was supposed to be his niche, his role to come in, but he's just fucking tanked this whole season. It's been the most absurd thing I've ever seen, and it frustrates everybody.
You know what? Like, okay, so I be on Twitter. Y'all see me. I try not to defend the front office, right? But this whole thing with Jimmy, sometimes I'll be defending the front office, and I got to go back to who the fuck thought Terry was going to be that. Like, that is why, like, when people bring up trades and they bring up all this other stuff and they bring up all the things that they want the Heat to do, I'm like, where do you guys get this trust from that they're going to do the right things, that they're going to make the right moves?
You're right. And
because any front office who thought that Terry Rozier was worth a first-round pick and an expiring contract, and he was the missing piece to get a team over the hump, is a front office that cannot be trusted.
Yep. And I 100% agree with you. But if there's one thing this front office has done well, or this franchise in general, it's been draft and develop players. Like, we're seeing it with, like, let's spin this in a positive light for this game. We're seeing the improvements Kel'El's had offensively. Like, the short roll vision, it's getting better. Plays? Yeah, hey, fuck it, show the plays. Like, let's go.
Yay.
Yay. Kel'El developing all these aspects of his game.
This is the one. This is the one, Lou.
Is this the short roll lob?
No, it's the one from Bam.
Oh yeah, from Bam to him. Yeah, and this is what we want to see. Like, we want to see more of this involvement, them getting used to each other. Perfect. Like, they're taking a step in the right direction is what I'm getting at. But like, again, we have done, even when I didn't like the Kel'El pick, because I was very adamant about, I don't think he was going to fit with the Jimmy timeline. That's been his biggest improvement. He didn't even do that in college. The shooting and the vision off like the short row has been much improved.
Bam jumped over that guy too.
Yeah, he jumped over Desumo on that one. But like all these things, guys, like that's what the team is good at. Like the franchise's biggest strength is no longer acquiring players through free agency. That's a myth. It's no longer trading for guys because we don't have the assets. It's drafting and developing.
It's not even that they don't have the assets. They're just fucking bad at it.
Yeah. Again, and when the few times that they're like, they handpick the guys, they're just not identifying the right guys. But regardless, the one thing that they are good at identifying is who to draft and who to develop in the system. So I would rather them do that than fucking.
But you know what the funny part is, Lou? When you look at who, like I'm almost glad that Jimmy's made such a mess of this, because they were so adamant about bringing in an all-star player in for Jimmy, and it's like, who fucking cares, guys?
Yep.
Like, who cares? Like, unless you're getting a superstar, you need somebody that's better than Bam and Hero to really to turn this team into a legit contender. Like, the whole time, they should have all been about expiring contracts, young guys, and draft picks.
Yep.
And honestly, I think that it's gonna come down to that, because they're not gonna have a lot of options left, and because of what Jimmy's done to the whole thing. But like, for them to be like, oh, we want an all-star back. Why? For what? For what? What do you want an all-star for? You want DeMar DeRozan? Like, what do you want an all-star for? To be a high-functioning 5 seed? Yep. Like the whole, like, and this is why we go back to the fact that
telling me there's a chance.
Well, I mean, the whole vision of the front office where you think you're close enough that Terry Rozier is
the missing piece
is going to be so he's
and a
worth,
first round pick.
He's worth the first round pick.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you're going to get a guy that's going to get you over the hump, a team that we all knew was trash last year, we all knew it was trash. But you thought that Terry Rozier was worth the first round pick because it was going to lift that team over some kind of invisible hump. That was stupid. Then in this offseason, you knew you weren't going to extend Jimmy. You knew that. But you thought you could get enough out of – first of all, you thought somehow you were going to motivate Jimmy Butler like by challenging him and being a dick to him in press conferences. And you thought you were going to motivate him despite the fact that you knew you weren't going to give him an extension and get one more year out of him and get this plucky group somehow back to the Eastern Conference Finals again. Bad fucking move. You should have traded him this offseason. And now look where we are. Right? And it's just like, and now you have, okay, there are some, like Lou, like you said, Ware, Pella, there's some things that are hopeful that you can actually build upon. But instead of building upon those things, we decide that Terry Rozier must play 30 minutes per game, no matter how fucking bad he is. Like, every time I try to connect with this team and start trying to enjoy this season, like fucking Spo or somebody slaps me in the fucking face.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, man, because like you want some like pick a side. You're still not picking a side. Fucking
be decisive, bro. Be decisive.
And what drives me nuts is there's no like pressure from ownership. This isn't like 95% of the other organizations. The front office is Teflon, just like Terry Rozier. They can do no wrong. They're keeping their jobs. So is Spo. Like, who are you answering? Who are you? You're not afraid of Mickey firing you. You're not afraid of Pat firing you. Like,
again,
no, we got to play Terry. Like,
again, I really think they're trying to save face with the Terry trade. Like, because
I really think so too.
Let's be honest. Like, let's be honest about Spo. Like, he's having a bad season. There's no reason this team should be, 500. Like, we're a fucking horrible basketball team. Like, I think they're just trying to save enough face so they can be like, look, guys, we tried, and he just did it didn't work. We've seen Spo.
No, they're pissing us off more.
I get it, but we've seen Spo like cut people off of the rotation right away, even while they've had a contract, but it hasn't been somebody that they traded for. We saw it with Duncan after they paid him. They gave Strus all those minutes. The issue is they don't have anybody else to trust and to like promote in that position for Terry. Like, that's why they're doing all they can now. Like, Kel'El's only enough for what Jimmy's done, in terms of promoting and everything that's happened with the whole Jimmy situation. They don't have somebody else not saying Kel'El's the same player or whatever, but gives the fans hope. Like, they don't have a guy at the point guard position that can give them hope.
Fuck that. Terry's
I don't know, man.
Guard.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
They don't have a
here.
single point guard on the entire fucking team. So let's stop pretending you do.
That was their plan.
That was the plan. They
didn't
have
address
taken
it.
one.
Well, here's the thing.
They didn't
Franky, I've said it 1,000 times.
2 times.
They don't have a fucking plan.
No.
It's fucking wholly evident that they don't have a plan. So, like, I try not to defend the front office because I think they've done a fucking piss poor job. Like, honestly, the last time they put a really good team on the floor was 2022.
Yep.
Okay.
And to their credit, they don't even take credit for that. They blame Jimmy for fucking Kyle.
When Kyle is the best move they've made, Kyle and PJ Tucker is the best move they've made since they signed Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, they were definitely up there. I think the Crowder Iggy trade helped them too, but I wholeheartly agree. Like, they've only made 2 good moves, essentially. Like, let's be honest. Honestly, everything else has been draft.
Since PJ and Kyle, they haven't made a single good fucking move, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly. It's all been scouting. The scouting and the coaching staff developing these guys.
Honestly, and at the time, people said it, the run that got them to the finals against Denver may be the worst thing that ever happened to this fucking team.
Yep. They didn't move off of Caleb.
Not because it wasn't fucking fun.
Yeah.
The problem was it made them fucking delusional about what this squad was.
Yep.
Thank you, J. Cole.
No, but I mean, you're entirely right. Like, it made them hold on to everybody a year too long. Like, guys that they knew that they weren't going to pay, Max or even
Max,
Gabe, Caleb, all these guys, they just let them walk out of the door. That doesn't happen anymore, guys. Like, you are not supposed to do that unless you're legitimately trying to win a championship. Last season, them trading Kyle Lowry was a direct response to how shitty the season had been, trying to blame somebody and trying to find a fix. The issue is you're attaching assets for a temporary fix that you didn't know was going to work. No, and now you're just digging yourself a hole. Like
the delusion of thinking that was a fix, bro.
No, I agree.
And then for the reporting to be they didn't realize the effects that trade would have on the cap is so fucking criminally stupid.
Stupid. Yep.
The fact that trade not only cost you a first-round pick, not only cost you an expiring contract, not only brought in a player that's honestly fucking torpedoed a lot of the things that you want to do. Like, we've talked about what happens to Nico when he's on the floor with Terry. He turned into a shit player, right? So he's effectively making your future worse. And then beyond that, it handcuffed you to certain things you were able to do this offseason to improve your team. It is the worst trade in Miami Heat history, and it's not fucking close. Okay? Like, you cannot give me another trade that was worse than this one. Try, and I will tell you you're fucking wrong. Okay?
And you know what's worse about that pick to Charlotte? The similar trades were was the Russell Westbrook from the Lakers to the Jazz and the 3-team trade. They traded a first-round pick to get D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and someone else back that they played. They had 3 rotation players in one trade back. That first round, if it's top 4 protective, if it doesn't convey, it turns into a second-round pick. The Heat got Terry Rozier for a first-round pick.
Unprotected,
one lotto protected year, and then unprotected the next year.
The stupidest shit ever. And
they got fucking ransacked by the Charlotte Hornets.
The worst franchise in the fucking league.
Damn near. It's
fucking morons. Like,
and it wasn't even at the deadline. Like, they didn't. There was no urgency.
They did it 2 weeks ahead. They did it 2 weeks ahead for a guy, and then they sent Kyle Lowry to a team that they knew was going to buy him out so another team can use his services instead of calling the teams directly that could have used his fucking services. Stupid.
Because you needed Terry Rozier. Who the fuck thought Terry Rozier was any good?
Alf, you know what's even crazier? Last year, what have we said about the Heat for damn it as long as I can remember? Damn, they need some size. They went and they brought a 6'1" guard back. In return,
Lou,
a 6'1" guard that doesn't play like a 6'1" guard. But on top of that,
and Lou,
PJ Washington went for the first round fucking pick. We called about the wrong motherfucking guy. Like, what are we doing?
And they got picks back for PJ. Not to mention that, but also
second rounder.
They said Kyle went to the team they faced in the playoff. In the play-in, they lost by 1 point. Kyle was a +1.
You can't. The script writes itself, man. When your front office is as inept as our front office has been over the last couple of years, I don't overly shit on this front office because they've had their stretches. They were excellent for a long period of time, but time has caught up to them. They just do not adjust. They do not take calculated risks. They don't know what the fuck they're doing half the time in these trade conversations.
My problem is they're so behind the fucking times.
Yeah,
First-round
they're
picks
first-round
picks have never fucking been more valuable, and they throw them away. They also don't ever leverage any of their fucking player development to amass some kind of draft capital.
Yep.
The whole entire league has fucking lapped them. Absolutely fucking lapped them. And they're still sitting here thinking, oh, we're a contender. We like our team. Motherfucker, you're the only ones that do.
Yep. Alf, every offseason, we'll see what happens. Oh, we were trying to get Kevin Durant. That's why we couldn't do anything else. We were trying to get Donovan Mitchell. That's why we couldn't do anything else. We were trying to get Damian Lillard. That's why we couldn't do anything. Like
enough with no fucking plan B. How about that?
Yeah.
How about fucking? You know what? In my job,
this team's an abortion.
I am the head of a sales department, right? if one of my targets don't hit, I can't say, well, that my whole entire fucking plan for 2025 was to get into this fucking retail store. It didn't work, so I guess we'll see next year. Bitch, no. I better have some other fucking revenue streams.
No,
Your
not
fucking
us.
your fallback was fucking Thomas Bryant and Josh Richardson? That was your fucking fallback?
That's
That's all you had left in the fucking hopper right now. If Beal doesn't fucking waive that no trade clause, you ain't got shit. Come on, man! Like,
you know, it'd be so funny if they get
and here's the one thing.
Game.
And here's one thing I'm gonna say: stop blaming Pat. Okay, and I'm not sitting here to defend Pat. What I want you guys to all look at this team and realize. Just Jared says no plan B was part of Project 2025. What you guys need to realize, it is no longer Pat Riley's fucking organization.
Right.
It is a brain trust of 4 or 5 people. And if you ask me, that's the fucking problem.
Right.
That's why there's no fucking direction. That's why there's no fucking vision. That's why there is no like nobody sits there and stands on fucking business and says, this is what we're going to fucking do.
Everybody thinks the same.
This roster is going in 5 fucking different directions, and Spo's over here fucking having a season that would get him fired anywhere else. Like, let's be fucking real about that shit. If Spo was not Spo and this wasn't the Miami Heat and he didn't have this track record, the season he's having will get him fired anywhere else. So please stop invoking the name Pat Riley and everything you fucking say and do, because you're letting 4 other motherfuckers off the hook. Nick Arison, fucking Andy, Adam Simon, whoever the fuck else is in that brain trust. And Spo, by the fucking way. Spo has a lot of fucking personnel decisions right now, because when you had a chance to get Trae Young for cheap, Spo didn't want him because he don't play no fucking defense. Instead, he wants fucking Terry Rozier.
Teflon Terry.
Okay? So when they turn their nose up at guys like PJ Washington, stop just blaming Pat. Stop blaming Pat. There's so many, because if they fire Pat, the dumb motherfuckers that are making the decisions now will have more fucking say. Okay? So stop with the Pat shit. You guys are letting people off the fucking hook. Andy Ellisberg didn't know the fucking machinations of what would happen with that fucking Terry trade and what it would do to their fucking cap in the offseason. How about blame Andy Ellisberg for that shit? How about blame Nick Arison for not treating this shit like Mickey used to treat it as a fucking hobby, and now it's a fucking business? So why do you think there's fucking all this tax shit every fucking year?
Being
okay? Nick Arison, with all his fucking years of fucking basketball management experience, because he fucking was a ball boy at Duke. Blame all these motherfuckers, okay? Stop with the fucking hubris of Spo. I don't need size. Just get me versatile 6'4" motherfuckers all day long. Blame everybody. Stop with the fucking Pat. It's so fucking lazy. It is a brain trust of fucking brain dead motherfuckers. And it's Rozier for a first round pick. Fuck out of here, idiots.
It's just like Lou was saying, like they're all under the same idea, like branch. So like they all have similar ways of thinking, and they need to have, but they also have like their own thing. Like Pat was the precious pick. We know that. He wanted to go big, and
they need to stop letting him draft people, because Precious and KZ were our only 2 misses. And they were both Pat Riley. Like all our hits, who is it? Is it Simon or Cameron?
Simon.
I think the 2, Adam Simon.
We need that
Chet
motherfucker.
Underneath him, though.
Okay, so we need him making all the picks. The Pat, sit down. We're blaming Pat for that one. I'm sorry. For that one, we gotta blame
that's
Pat.
fine.
Chat's saying KZ was a second rounder. They traded like 5 second-round picks to get him. That was the problem.
The issue was not the issue wasn't KZ missing. It was trading 3 second-round picks for KZ to miss. Mismanagement of assets, yet again. Like, it's just, that's been their specialty. They've never valued draft picks. Nobody in that regime values draft picks. And now all of a sudden they're like, hey guys, we should start valuing draft picks.
So apparently Nick Arison disagreed on the Terry trade.
Whoever disagreed on the Terry pick should be the new GM.
Which honestly is the only reason I don't torch him relentlessly. But he's
How do we know that? Who said that, by the way? Did he come
that
out
came
of-
from Ethan, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's funny. I imagine he's like, guys, look, it wasn't me.
You want to know who it was? And honestly, if you look back, I think it was Spo because Terry. The only time like Terry would torch the Heat when they played, and Spo was probably like, "Yeah, that motherfucker's good." No, he's not. He probably just played a shitty zone against them, and he had no choice but to catch and shoot.
That's why I think like Spo should not be involved in like the actual player acquisition. He should be involved in like the style, and then the front office is like, all right, you want to play fast, you want to play versatile. We're gonna get you those guys. But Spo having to coach and develop and scout and help that's too much on his plate.
No,
that never works. That never works.
No, Stan tried it in Detroit, and they were fucking horrible.
Doc tried it in Clip in LA, and he did the same shit. Whoever cooked us, we're bringing him to LA, and that's not a good fucking
that's
strategy.
And you know what? It's sad. It's just like the vibes from the San Antonio game. Like the vibe, like there have been some good vibes this year. Like I thought Bam had a really good game tonight. Like Bam had a quintessential Bam game where the defense was on point. Like he did a lot of really good things. Like Tyler had a bad game. Like I said, win or lose, like you just want them to you want their coaching staff to give themselves the best chance to fucking win. And it seems like I literally think Spo's cost them like 6 to 7 games this year.
Yeah. You just want the young guys to decide the games for you.
Yeah, that's it.
Like just let them play. Let them.
It's not just young guys. You just want your
your core.
Yeah, the core
you want
forward.
Yes,
and that includes Duncan too. Like in terms of giving him like flexibility, even though if again talk about like asset management, if somebody offers you something for Duncan or Highsmith and it's worth, considering. They should be on the table too. Like,
yeah, if they're not part, like fucking Duncan, how many DMPs does he have to get? You got the Luke Babbitt, fucking Myers Leonard redacted minutes.
And again, it hurts to say because all the Heat fans, like in general, this is like a general thing. Like, now I'm not saying everybody, but most Heat fans, they want to only trade the guys that do bad. Nobody wants those guys. The guys that you like are the guys that the contenders like too.
Yeah,
so,
and
yes,
here's the thing:
Duncan and Highsmith would be wanted.
I think Highsmith is. I would be a little bit more reticent on Highsmith because I think he's a piece for the future. But at the same time,
he could be. Again,
at the same time, if you get the right deal for him, but like a Duncan, and you guys know I love Duncan, right? But if he's a win now kind of player for a team that like a team like the Rockets that need a fucking shooter.
Yep.
Like Duncan is fucking perfect.
Or Orlando that needs a shooter. Like
Duncan, like you might be able to get a first round pick or 2 for Duncan right now. Like those are the kinds of moves that a smart front office makes.
Chad said Duncan for Luka.
Send it in.
It might work.
Send it in.
And but that's where they have to decide, Alf, that now, like, hey, are these guys in our plans? Because both of them have 1 year left on their contract. Are we really planning on extending them? If not,
good value too. It's not like these contracts are like extremely inflated. Like Duncan's going to make like 19 next year, and Highsmith is going to make less than 6. So these are wonderful contracts where you can flip, and perhaps it's 1 second round pick or 2 second round picks for like Highsmith. But you get a young guy in return, like a guy in his rookie contract, first, second year, somebody that you valued at the draft that you want to develop.
If you have this trade with Golden State for Jimmy, they don't want to give up these wings and these extra pieces. Give them Highsmith. Throw Highsmith in. It's very easy cap-wise to sneak Highsmith in, give them an extra guy who can contribute and it softens the blow of that. So, hey, okay, we'll give you an extra pick for that.
Yeah, we'll give you an extra 2 and maybe a swap. Leverage your way into this. Like the team that's trading for Jimmy or trading for, particularly for Jimmy, the team that's trading for Jimmy is going to want win now players. That's the only reason they're trading for Jimmy. You have Duncan's harder to fit, but you have obviously Highsmith. If they're interested in Kevin Love, that's somewhere you can offer them maybe
Burks
for the leadership. Well. Alec Burks is like these guys like that are veterans that have very easy shippable contracts that can get you an extra second round pick or an extra 2-3 second round picks depending on their value. Like these are the guys that you should be looking to either include in that deal or do separate deals with, because for like the same reasons Teams will want Duncan Robinson for the future for his offensive reasons. Teams will want Haywood Highsmith for his defensive reasons. So they might be willing to part with some capital. Just 2 seasons ago, Jay Crowder went for 5 second-round picks. 5. Like, we see this every year. But instead, we hold on to these guys and we get no value. They just walk up out of here and they're done.
I mean, how many times have we seen it? Like when's the last time they sold high on somebody?
Josh Richardson.
And it was because they had to. It was a sign.
2019. All right, Franky, you got some more plays.
Yeah, last couple plays
Yay,
here. I've been a real fan of Tyler this season, not predetermining every decision like he used to. He sets up the lobs, nice ball fake, gets to the cup, and look at Vucevic throw his hands up because he's like, he fucking got me. I loved Jaime. This was a really good game from Jaime. Boom, pump fake, gets to the side pick and roll with Bam, sets him up, opens up the easy dunk for him. Here was a great play from Jaime again. Bumps Matas off his space, forces the help, gives Nico an easy shot.
Where are the Terry plays?
I said good plays.
Oh.
We're ending on a high note here.
Here's the real tough Jaime. Jaime is so good at using his shoulder. Bump that, create space, use the glass.
Most assertive he's been all season was today.
And I'm so mad they lost because fucking Bam's defense in the fucking third was fucking great. Pulls a chair on Vooch. Gets fucking amped up. Like, that was fun. There was fun stuff to watch, and none of it included Terry for a fucking reason. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matas kicked their ass today. Real quick, shout out to this guy on Blue Sky. This is who kicked our ass today. Texas Dad 305 on Blue Sky. This 20-year-old, that's really what he fucking looks like. Shout out to him. He's a fucking hooper, but he fucking whooped our ass tonight.
Hey.
That was fucking frustrating. That was like
Chad wants to wear lob again on the short roll. Gaga. That's fucking great.
All that for fucking nothing.
Chat, we're gonna do a live trade deadline show. We'll announce the time tomorrow. And then we'll probably end up doing a fucking
dud. The fucking show's gonna be a fucking dud.
Unless Jimmy gets traded before then we'll be
live. Of course.
We'll do that's what I'm telling you, to be a fucking dud.
No, I think we'll do a live show regardless, and just react to the NBA news. And then
don't fucking watch that shit.
If there's no Heat trades, we probably won't do a show at night. If there is, we'll probably do it.
Fucking Brian Goins reading off a fucking spreadsheet. It's gonna fucking suck.
We won't have Goins reading cap numbers to you. Don't worry.
Fucking awful.
Love you, B Money.
I thought you were gonna go for the out there.
Chad says, "Wait till Matas gets that veteran experience. He'll shoot 2 for 12."